There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With over 140 channels in your vehicle, your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's your host Ben Wu for another lunchtime learning session here on CMA Connected. Now, as you all know, which I hope you do, we went through an incredible array of brands in the last, 2 weeks now, over at CMA Industry Week. And our guest today certainly put on quite the show. So I do encourage you to go back and check out what MSC put on during Industry Week. And the reason I bring that up is because here we are just a few days after Industry Week, and these guys made a pretty big announcement. You know, they unveiled a new program that they're rolling out called Systems by MSC. And now, this is something that I personally found very interesting because I have yet to really ever witness this type of packaging or this type of offering from any particular manufacturer or brand. And when I say that, I mean, you know, there's, you know, quite a few options out there when it comes to application specific type gear, but to take it to the level that MSC has, the type of gear they've incorporated, the level of detail that they've showed us during that presentation, I for one was certainly impressed. And more so than that, quite curious when both Chris and Larry called me up and said, Ben, we want to get on and connected because we've got more to talk about when it comes to Systems by MSC. I hope you're curious. I am too. So before we get too deep into this, let's get the people that will be able to deliver the goods and tell us what this is all about. Of course, we have Larry coming in from Calgary. How's it going, Larry?
Top of the world, Ben. How are you today?
Oh, I'm curious. This is my word today. I'm very curious. You didn't tell me much, so I'm like, all right, I'll wait till Friday. We can play this game, Larry. I thought we were closer than that, but obviously not. But
got to keep you guessing. Got to keep you guessing, man.
I'm going to bring in Chris real quick, and then I'm going to circle back to you. Hey, Chris, what's going on?
Absolutely living the dream here, Ben.
Living the dream. I love it. Spring is in the air. Okay, let's cut to the chase. Larry, I thought we just did this. Like, didn't we just tell everybody about what Systems by MSC is all about? Like, it was just a couple of days ago. Surely nothing. What has more transpired since then?
We're it's pedal to the metal on this end right now, Ben, as far as getting everything in line. And we really wanted to make sure all of our dealers understood exactly what we were doing with Systems by MSC, because as we mentioned in our launch on Industry Week, this is the most important product launch in our company's history, and certainly for me personally, a lot of mind and soul has been poured into this project, and my right-hand guy, Mr. Chris Van Rye, on this end has been working his tail off on this as well as Dewey and Derek in our back shop. And it's really, really special to us. And we just want to make sure, we want to take a little bit more of everybody's time just to make sure they fully understood exactly what we were doing.
So what you're telling me is we're going to do a deeper dive on MSC, because I don't know. That's not how you roll. There must be some new stuff that you want to talk about too.
Yeah, we've got our launch package fully dialed in now, and we wanted to kind of go over that and show you that. But in a preface to that is kind of really dive deep into what Systems by MSC is, and I think we made a pretty good explanation of that during Industry Week, but we just want to bring everybody's mind to that a little more, just to make sure that they fully grasp what we're doing and why we're doing it, more importantly.
Well, here's what I'm hoping. I mean, we had the chance. I mean, remember that Chris brought us into the truck, right, that we showed the product installed and stuff like that. I'd love to see a little bit more detail of each component, because I know that that's something that you really stressed about.
Well, kind of a little hint what's behind us here.
I see.
So we're going to do that.
All right. Well, how do we begin?
Let's launch a little presentation here, and Chris and I will kind of go through this.
All right.
So The big deal is why systems by MSC, and that first slide really kind of brings in what we're doing. We're not selling boxes. We're not selling product. Our goal as a manufacturer, as a distributor, as a retailer, is making sure that we can recreate the experience of a live concert in somebody's vehicle. Everybody remembers their first concert, and everybody remembers the last concert they went to before we're faced with what we're all going through now. And live music is such an emotion. And nothing thrills me more to be driving down the freeway and see somebody air drumming on the steering wheel or belting out the lead vocal on a song or air guitar. That is such a cool thing to me because that's what we do. That's the emotion that we're going to bring. And if they can do that with a factory audio system, can you imagine what would happen if they actually had a system worthy of a live performance in their car? So that's really what it's all about. And it's that first musical experience. Everybody remembers that first thing, that first aha moment where music became a part of their life, where for Chris and I and everybody else in this industry, where it switched from being a hobby to being a career, and passing that excitement and that passion on to our end users out there that use our product, because that's what it's all about to us.
And just to be clear, that is not Chris on the guitar in this image.
No, that's not CVR.
Okay, that's not CVR.
No, he doesn't wear a hat. I was told that this morning.
That's what threw me off, really. All right.
So I'll pass this one on to Chris to explain. This is kind of our mission statement for Systems by MSC and what it means to him, because as I said, it's very much a personal deal for us.
Yeah, so the big thing for us when we came up with this concept, I mean, this is something that we've been talking about internally at MSC on the retail side of things, and as we expanded into distribution for years, and that was, finding a way to share what we were doing with our dealer base. We've encountered lots of guys who are incredibly talented and have, unlimited tooling and time and client budgets to work with, which is always cool. But we also encounter a ton of guys who don't have those pieces. Maybe they've got some, maybe they've got none, but we wanted to make sure that we had, we're using our own abilities and our fortunate state to be able to help guys get to the level they wanted to with this stuff. So what Systems by MSC is all about is taking a ground up engineered system and being able to provide that to our different dealer partners and allow them to efficiently turn out top tier audio systems. Like Larry said, we want to bring that live concert to every single client out there. And what Systems by MSC allows them to do is take systems that are engineered from the ground up, take the fabrication out of it, take the in-depth audio knowledge that somebody would have to have, take the extensive DSP experience, all of that stuff, and we're going to try and pre-box it as best we possibly can to give those dealer partners the ability to install these systems and set them up and get them dialed in quickly, efficiently, profitably, and give clients something that's just going to absolutely knock their socks off time after time after time.
So Ben, can we go back to full screen? Just leave the presentation for a sec. Mm-hmm. Because I want to speak directly to our retail partners out there. Is in the Bay, we're all super busy right now, and we're not the only ones who can build the system. There's, as Chris said, there's a lot of very talented technicians out there that are turning out this quality of gear every day. Our goal is to make sure that we can deliver a repeatable, high-end, high fabrication level system in one day. So if we're going to talk about the F-150 today again, because we've got some finished parts to show you, but we're going to take a system that retails for about 4,500 Canadian and 7,500 Canadian, and we're going to bring that into the Bay, and we're going to turn it in one day and make sure that it's repeatable and demonstrably better than anything they've ever heard at that price range, with really custom fabricated parts in a production line method. So to coin one of my friend Brian Schmidt's favorite terms is production high end. And that stuck with me when I first heard him say that. And I said, when we look at a Ferrari factory or a Porsche factory, you can bespoke that car with different color stitching and this and this and this, but the reality is it's still a production line. And when we get to mobile audio, we cowboy it up, and every Ford truck we do is a little different. It's a little different, and it's a little different. So that's a disservice to our client, and is also not the best thing for a business case for your retail store. So our goal was to give you something that's a special, bespoke, high-end production, high-end custom installation in a production line method. And we've started that now with the F-150. We've been having our Ford truck here for our retail tow vehicle to go pick up clients' cars, and also using it for trade shows and stuff like that to get cars too. And that's the F-150 system. It's undoubtedly one of the most popular vehicles out there, and definitely one of the poorest sounding audio systems when it comes to the factory system. Even in the B&O trim, it's pretty weak. So that's why we started with that. So we can go back to that now. We can go to the next slide. So these are some of the bits and pieces, and we're going to show you in real time here. But when it came down to the amplifier rack, we wanted to make sure that we delivered on something that's like factory. So you can see on the bottom right-hand picture there, that's the factory amplifier on a nice metal bracket. So we have recreated that nice metal bracket that's now holding our Helix V12, our 12-channel amplifier, along with partner in this project, NAV TV with their Zen Audio, their A2B box that is turning the high-end B&O system into our source unit and running all digital through into our Helix amplifier. The harness that you see there, that's installed in our truck, and that harness is going to come with you, or come to you exactly like that, with ferrules pre-installed, with all of the cables identified as to which speaker position they go into. Power wire harness will be there, fuse holder will be there, all of the black oxide screws, they're all Allen key, beautiful screws, zip ties, everything that you need to put this in the truck is going to be there. So we really wanted to make it a complete package. So that's it on the electronic side. And then when we go into the speaker side, as you saw in Industry Week, again, we wanted to make this look factory. And one of the big things with the factory that we made an improvement on is those black blank out plates you see there. Those are holes in the door that are normally covered with the plastic vapor barrier that the factory uses. So we've removed that, and we did a recreation of that plastic with a composite, heavy composite, and then damped it on the back. And then the rings that you see there are from our design partner, MTI Acoustics. We've worked with them, and we're actually taking out the bi-9 in the door, and we've gone with a big, beefy 8-inch driver from Blam in there. But it all uses factory forward fixing hardware, which is super important. And that HDPE is threaded, so our 8-inch actually threads into there. So there's no zap screws or anything like that. It's all machine screw stuff with Allen key.
Hey, Larry.
Yes.
We've got Corey Vinecourt asking a question about that panel. Do you have to drill the holes out? Yes.
So this is version 1.0 in the picture you see, and we'll show you version 2.0, where there's some little dimples on the door that we line the plate up, and then we supply you with the nutserts and the machine screws to go into those nutserts. So if the vehicle ever has to go in for service, they're not pulling apart a gooey panel. They're just taking out some nice machine screws to get at the window regulator or whatever they're trying to fix. So that's all taken care of. Perfect. You can kind of see it on the right-hand picture. That's the rear door. That's version 2.0 there. So those top two holes that you see in the blanking plate is kind of the locator pins that are on every truck. So you line up the panel to that, you drill the holes out, you put the nutserts in, and then screw it in.
Yeah, nice. Very nice.
And then with our friends at AMP, you've got the fast rings there. So we have a set of 8-inch on the front, a set of 6-inch on the rear. That's the 6-inch live coax speaker in the door that is put in there.
Perfect.
And then again, with our partners at MTI Acoustics, we've designed this subwoofer enclosure. We'll show you better shots of that live here, but that's it installed in the truck. Very simple design, very clean design. We didn't want to make it too loud or overbearing. A lot of people just don't want to see it. They just want to hear it. And that was the reason why we designed that box that way, is to match the vehicle's interior perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, I have to comment on this. Sorry, Larry, but like that looks factory.
Thank you.
Down to the stitching, you know what I mean, and the work on all the stuff you see where my mouse is going. This all the beveling here. It really does look factory.
Chris and his team at MTI Acoustics have done a wonderful job on this, and we thank them for working with us on this project. It's great to have good partners to work with on this thing.
I'm going to presume that these are dual downward firing, hence the openings here.
Yes, 2 10-inch drivers and different versions of the drivers, and we'll cover that when we show you the live piece.
Perfect. Ooh, nice. Very nice.
Just down to the little details. So those of you who've seen these trucks, that's normally where the little B&O logo sits, and I couldn't stand staring at that any longer. So I said we got to do our Systems by MSC logo up there, so that every system will come with that you can put on there, because in behind that center channel grill, as you'll see, is one of the coolest pieces in the system for me to look at, is just the detail in that. We're pretty happy with it. So that, when we talk about the detail of that, I want to make sure everybody's very clear on the level of detail we've gone through in the production of that, because we've got all the bolts that are perfect, and even down to the base truck, because we do the B&O system, and then we do a system for the base truck. That amplifier rack that bolts to the back wall, when you get the base level truck, there is no factory amplifier rack there. So there's the inserts that pop into the back wall from Ford, and the bolts that screw into that insert, they're not there. So we went as far as to buy the actual inserts from Ford. So you've got the base truck, you roll it in the bay, you pop the inserts in, you put our amplifier rack in, you use the factory Ford hardware that we're going to supply to you to screw that down. And then there's 2 bolts on the bottom that are factory Ford fixing spots as well. So just everything we've thought of to make this look as OE as possible and as high-end as possible, and to show value to your customer that you're not messing around, you mean business.
And that's going to be important at the point of ordering, right? To make sure you know which model truck it's going into and all that, so that you guys can supply the right kit. All right.
Then we'll have an identifier with that.
All right.
The big thing with this for us, and I'm going to turn this over to Chris, because this is his best thing in life is sitting in the car and tuning, and that's really the big thing for me. Is plug and play is a very easy word to use these days, because anybody can make something fit in a car. There's talent there, but to actually have these plug and play systems be demonstrably better than the factory B&O system, we wanted to make sure we did that. So I'll turn that over to Chris, and he can explain that.
So with these guys, as Larry said, building parts and designing baffles to bolt up is, for a lot of companies, as easy as just making a phone call to a factory and off you go. That's one of the biggest things that defines System by MSC and differentiates us from anything else out there, is these systems are not only coming ready to bolt in with everything that you need, but this package is engineered from the ground up and includes the actual tuning and calibration and setup. So all of the crossovers, all of the equalization, the time alignment, phase alignments between channels, all the technical tools that we have at our fingertips based on the Audiotech Fisher DSP products, we're able to go through and actually set all of that stuff up, preload the amplifier, so that when a technician gets this thing plugged into the car, as soon as he turns it on, it's done. All he's got to do is verify his connections, things like polarity and making sure he's got everything plugged in the right spots. And beyond that, there's nothing left to do.
Time out. Are you telling me that because you've already pre-tuned this system to these components, to that environment, that the amplifier, in this case, the Audio-Tech Fisher amplifier, in its DSP settings will already be preloaded with the proper settings that basically are optimized for that situation, and that the only thing you need to check is plus and minus on speakers?
That's it. That was the biggest thing with systems by MSC, and why when we engineered these systems, these were designs from the ground up. They're going to come one way because of that tuning side of things. Is the second we change out speakers, there's other variables that come into it. Crossovers need to be redone, frequency response changes. The only way an engineered system works is if it's start to finish, top to bottom, and every step in between. So because we've come up with a way to make this efficient and easy and effective and repeatable, of course, we can take this whole thing one step farther than any other system on the market. And that is absolutely optimized to the peak performance of every component in the system, and take that worry off the technician or the sales guy or whoever would normally handle those duties at the shop. That's one of the big things with this, is we wanted to make these top tier systems accessible to anybody out there, any shop, any of our dealer partners who have the ability to take apart a car. You can now deliver something that is above and beyond quickly. And that's what we wanted to take. That's a big part of being able to turn these cars in a day. So
you know what needs to happen, guys? There needs
to
be
buy a truck, Ben?
Well, no, yes, but when a dealer receives this kit, there needs to be a certificate in there with a hand checklist, hand signed off paper from CVR saying this has been tuned by my ears, and I certify it. That's what needs to happen.
Actually a good idea.
It's like when you get a guitar by Luthier, they sign off on it saying, "I tuned this, guitar."
Yeah, that's a good idea,
and that's something you can show to the customer. Right.
Yep.
This is not some factory preset they just pressed and go. No. This guy, you know what I mean?
We'll send you the check in the mail for that idea.
I'm just saying there's some authenticity to it. I think there's an added value there. That's all.
Well, the important thing to that is that we, as the manufacturer's partner for North America, being Audio-Tech Fisher, Chris has been to Germany a couple times. I've been to Germany a couple times. We've all worked with these guys. We know, we're on the phone with them all the time. We know how this stuff works. And it's not that there isn't any good tuners out in our dealer base, because there's some fantastic tuners out there. But the bottom line is with this is, and we're not saying we're the end all be all to our tuning, but what we can assure you is that system is operating near its full capacity, and you're going to deliver that truck and the next truck and the next truck and the next truck, and they're all going to sound exactly the same. Yes, with consistency.
It's consistency and repeatability that's really attractive here.
Yeah, so that's the real important parts to me. As Chris said, we're using all the available tools. We're using all the acoustic measurement equipment and everything that we have here to make sure we've got that dialed in as best as possible, and that you don't have to take the time unless you want to, because it is open source. If you want to get in there and change some stuff, you certainly can. But as Chris said, all you have to do is put the speaker wires in, and the speaker wires will be labeled channel A, positive, negative, with a piece of heat shrink with it written on there. So you just go click, 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 and the harnesses will be cut to length, so there's no extra wire. It'll be perfect. Something you can be proud of when you're putting it in the guy's truck.
If you sent that to me, Chris, I would just go in there and change one frequency and just say, "Hi, I did it better than you," and send an email about the winning.
Warranty's void.
There you go. Perfect.
Password protected.
Password protected.
Yeah,
gotcha.
for years.
All right.
So that's really what it comes down to on the tuning side. So if we look at the systems, we go to the next slide. As I said, we're going to do two systems for the F-150. One is for the B&O. So the B&O has the factory amplifier, which is connected to the factory head unit by way of A2B. So again, partnering with our friends at NavTV with their Zen audio interface. That's how we're getting that digital signal into our processor. We're using an active two-way kit in the front end, center channel, coaxes in the back. You're getting the power wire and ground wire that's running directly to the battery. NavTV has made it very clear that they believe that the amplifier and Zen box should be grounded directly to the battery in these aluminum Ford trucks. Some have had good luck not doing that, but we just said, okay, we're going to take it there. So that comes in the package, and that'll be a Stinger wire that's included with that. You get the door plates to isolate the rear speaker wave. You get all the harnessing. So you would unplug the factory Ford amp, you'd plug in our harness, connect it to our amplifier where it's all labeled, and away you go. Turn it on and make it happen. And as I said, every screw, everything is machine screw, by the way. There is no self-tappers in this kit at all. It's all designed to work together. So that's using our V12 DSP amplifier. And then for those that have the bass system, so the B&O, as you know, is Lariat, Raptor, all that kind of stuff. But there's lots of bass level trucks out there with the sync system in the front end, the big 8-inch screen that is powered off of the radio. Now that radio is also got a bunch of factory equalization and other things that Ford has done to try and eke the best performance out of their inexpensive little speakers that they put in the truck. So what we've done, we're just in the midst of working with ADS because they have a new device coming that we're going to put into play with this kit that will flash the factory Ford radio as if you had ForScan without the worries of plugging in ForScan, because I don't know if you know that, but ForScan is you can do anything to that truck, and we want to make sure that there's not a mistake made. So with the ADS kit, we're going to flash that radio to 4-volt, full range, flat signal with their box, and then that'll plug into our amplifier. You're going to get the T harness that plugs right in at the radio, the harness that goes back to the amplifier, and we're using our up 7-channel DSP based amplifier, and it'll come from there back up front, all in this harness that's already done. It's just plug. In a case of the up 7, there's no connections to be made. You just plug it into the amplifier because it's a Molex plug that'll come on the harness. Put the box in. We've made brackets that plug onto the seatbelt straps in the Ford truck, and you're done. So it's an amazing little system, huge upgrade to the factory system.
Very cool.
And then I'll turn it back over to Chris to talk about the next slides there.
So this is something that we've put together. This is going to be a part of the Systems by MSC package. This is the brochure that comes with the kit and will be available to all of the Systems by MSC dealer partners. But this is just something that's talking about the gist of what Systems by MSC means. I mean, we talk a lot about, music and live concerts and what it means to us, but it's something that affects absolutely every minute of every day of all of our lives. It doesn't matter if you're walking through the grocery store, you're watching TV. I mean, you can't watch the news without having music pumped into it. So it has a huge dynamic impact on everything that we do every day, and we want to make sure that we're getting the best possible experience out of that. I mean, that's what brings us all together, whether we're professionals in the industry or consumers or hobbyists or any of it. The only thing that ties us all together is our absolute love for music. I mean, most of these guys that are going to be watching this are just like me. They probably don't go 1 minute of the day without music playing some way in some form. So that's what drives us to put this system together and get this out into the world. We have a ton of experience playing around with this stuff. I mean, that's what we've all dedicated our lives to. So bottling this stuff up is and putting it together into these packages is what this whole thing's all about, and keeps all the fun in it, and of course keeps hopefully keeps the food on the table and the lights on in the house and all of that kind of stuff at the same time. So Systems by MSC is just about taking every aspect of what we're doing with our careers professionally and our hobbies and combining it all into one little package. So and then we've got the next side of things is going to just dive in a little bit deeper to some of the stuff we've already talked about on the next page, Ben, where we've got some of the tuning side of things that we're tying into, using those tools that are available through the Audio Tech Fisher DSP tools, all that processing to get everything up and running, and then partnering that with world-class components, the speakers that we're using, the partners that we've teamed up with to help us in the manufacturing and development side of things, like Larry had mentioned earlier, the guys at MTI, the guys at AMP, the team at NAV TV, of course, Audiotech Fisher and Blam, and all of these guys that have come together to help us put together this thing that we believe in and that we think is going to shake the world up a little bit and make a difference to how we all do business and how we all enjoy our music every day.
We had a question coming in from one of our viewers wondering if this is going to be kept available to current dealers first.
I will answer that. And
Perfect.
Those of you who have done business with me understand, or the companies that I've been involved with, there is nothing more important to me than our dealer partners, and nothing more important to this company than our dealer partners. This will not be sold online. This will not be sold to end-use consumers in any way. This is for our brick and mortar retail partners that have been our dealer, and that's super, super important to me. So that's the only way it'll be available, is through Systems by MSC dealers.
Perfect. Do we want to go to the next slide, Chris?
Yeah, we're ready for that.
Okay.
So upcoming.
Here we go. I knew it.
So we currently have a Porsche 992 in the back shop that we're working on a higher end version of Systems by MSC for, with the same level of detail and the same system goals that we have now. And then the next slide, we're waiting for one of the first Broncos, and that is through one of our client partners who's giving us his Broncos, one of the first ones that are coming in, and we will do the Systems by MSC package for that as well. So those are two upcoming things. The Porsche will be next, and we'll probably launch sometime June, July timeframe. With the, if we go to the next slide, the Ford system will be launching May 15th with the base audio system, and then about 30 days later for the B&O system. So parts are in production now. It's all been signed off on, and we're ready to go.
Fantastic.
So I'm just going to bring two guys that have been very important into this mix, and that's our two lead technicians. Chris, if we can go to the product cam, Ben.
Yeah. I'm just going to get Chris to set that up while we're waiting.
Oh.
Here. All right.
So I'd like to introduce Mr. Dewey. Come on over, Dewey. And Mr. Derek Brown. These two guys have been a big part of Systems by MSC and continue to develop all the parts and pieces that we're going to show you. And this is understanding what our goal is and our culture is within the company and what we're trying to do. These are the two guys that worked on it to get it going and continue to work on things like the 992 and all the other packages that we bring to life. So I wanted to introduce these two guys because, to hell with Chris and I, these are the guys that really make it all happen. We're just the spokesmodels, but I wanted to thank them for all their work with it and to put a face to the name. You guys will see these guys at shows and stuff when we get back to that in the real world.
I don't know if they can hear me, Larry, but I want to tell them great job on the detail work and how seamless that all fits.
Yeah, I will pass that on, Ben. We've got the headphones on, so we'll make sure that they understand that.
All right.
So we wanted to show you, this is the subwoofer enclosure here, and we wanted to show you some of the detail, and we apologize, we just had a gimbal situation, so Chris is trying to be the best human gimbal he can. So this is the enclosure that was fabricated by our friends at MTI Acoustics, and the front end, if you come into this, you'll see the detail in the stitching and the detail in what you were talking about, Ben, with the little inserts.
There it is.
And then I'll turn this up. That's where you'll see the subwoofers. And one of the changes we're making here is this will change into the 8-pin Molex plug from Match. So you'll be able to just plug into the sub box, and then the other end will connect to the amplifier. So you won't have any speaker terminal type stuff there. And then I wanted to show you on the back corner, These are the brackets that we're using to attach to the seatbelt frame. Again, 1/8" aluminum, T-nutted into the box, not just screwed into the box, but it's actually a machine screw insert into the box, and that's a 1/4 bolt we're using. So once this goes in the truck, it's not going anywhere. And these are our speaker knockout plates that we talked about.
You know what'd be really cool, Larry?
Yes.
I mean, we know how important sound dampening is. So, it'd be nice if you, applied. Oh, I'll just shut up now.
So this is upside down, but with our business and friendship relationship with Mr. Brian Schmidt and John Schwartz at SoundShield, we're using their damping on the back internal side. So when you open the door, you're just going to see OEM looking panel, but on the back side it's all damped, and then it's got a foam seal on it, so it seals up to the door.
That is sneaky, because I didn't see that anywhere in the images.
And then the speaker mounts. This is the rear speaker mounts, and the factory Ford hardware will sneak down in there. And then we've got nice button head Allen screws that are threaded into the back, or threaded into the panel itself. So nice thick baffle, good and solid. This is the 8-inch, so that'll have a fast ring on it as well, the 6-inch. Then you got the 8-inch L200P from Blam with the fast ring already attached to show you that. And again, the bracket, baffle, with the foam surround and the machine screw inserts as well. Nice thing with this is when you pull this out, the machine screws go back in, and you're not have a hole that is no longer threaded or will allow you any tension. Tweeter bracket. We've seen in a lot of Ford kits where it's just a flat bracket. If you notice this, it's angled. So it's going to put the tweeter more on axis in the Ford truck, because that's one of the big things acoustically that's wrong with the system. And then you'll notice that this is aluminum, black powder coated. So when you put it in with the factory screws, it looks like a factory part.
Very nice.
And then the center channel detail. It's kind of hard to see this, but this, the Blam LFR50 is recessed into this composite piece. And the composite piece even actually has the guide pin holes from the factory Ford center channel piece. So this literally goes pop exactly where the factory Ford piece was, screws in, and then you'll have a wire with a connector that plugs into the factory connector, or in the case of the base truck, you'll have a wiring harness that runs to the back as well. There'll still be a serviceable harness there that you can unplug the center channel. Then we get to the horsepower of the situation. This is the amplifier rack that bolts on the back. And when I meant the harness, you can see that through the 12 channels, there are different positions on the amplifier. So imagine a harness, if all the wires were the same length, you'd have big loops. But what we're doing is cutting the harness to length, so it all comes down nice and neat and then goes into the wire run. And then the Zen box, which will connect to the amplifier with one fiber optic link between the two. And here's the factory Ford fixing positions on the top. And as I say, you'll get the inserts if you have the base truck, and then the bottom. Now, we even went so far as in the base truck, the carpet is cut out, and we made this little piece, which is the exact cutout of the carpet, so you don't see the painted floor. So this goes down flush. Well, we can put it on here. So it sits like that, like that on the amp rack, and covers up the cutout piece of the carpet on the floor. Just some detail on that. So that's the system. Other than the harnesses and the manuals, we're going to provide a manual that shows you how to take the door apart and all that stuff. Not that any of our dealers don't know that, but we just want to make this kit as complete as possible. So we'll go back to the main screen.
All right. Well, I gotta say, Larry, I don't have much to comment on. You kind of covered all the bases.
Yeah, it's really a pride thing for us to do the best that we can. We've been working on this for a long time, and again, the things that we've experienced on the retail side, and said, man, I wish we could have a system that instead of taking 3 days to do the same truck that we just did a month ago, it'd be nice if we could just repeat it and rinse and repeat. So that's what we've done with this, and again, making sure that we can stay profitable and make sure that we can deliver what the client is paying for each and every time.
Because I can imagine one of the challenges moving forward, developing new kits for new vehicles, there's a lot of R&D involved, a lot of time.
Yes.
So there's a certain question of investment. So, you got to really analyze the market and figure out where, which direction you want to go. However, I can only imagine the demand as this starts rolling out for more and more applications.
We hope that it'll be successful for everybody, not just us, but for our retail partners that are putting these systems in. And you hit the nail on the head. The amount of time that it takes to make sure we've ordered all the screws and that the right length, and the zip ties, spacing between zip ties, and getting the right ferrules, and lining up the machinist to cut all that metal and all that other stuff. It's a big project. And the only way that you can do this is if you do it in a high-level production method, because if it was a single store trying to do this, it would be impossible. And then we're back to the 3 days. So now, from a business case, we're selling a $7,500 system in 1 day, or we're selling a $7,500 system in 3 days. And you don't have to be a physics professor to understand the difference that can make in the bottom line of your business. And you're doing the customer solid, because you're delivering something that is true custom fabrication, but in a production line method.
Just to clarify, when you're referencing these prices, these are MSRP US, Canadian?
Yes. MSRP Canadian.
Right.
Is on the top end system will be $7,500, and on the entry level system will be $4,500. Add on your day's labor at whatever your labor rate is, and that's a typical MSC profitability for those of our dealers who know what that is, and you're away to the races.
So I have another question for you.
Yes.
Let's say I right now not necessarily selling any MSC lines like independently, but I'm super intrigued at this, all-inclusive application.
Yes.
Is there opportunity for me? Should I bother calling you?
Absolutely, you should. We run a very protected dealer base. Those dealers who have been with us for a while understand that. We want to make sure that we're not just about selling the product. We're about sharing our culture and sharing our passion. So those dealers who get us, and we would love to entertain talking with each and every one of you. If you go to our website, which is msc-america.com. For those of you who are in the US, you can call our Mesa office, and for those of you in Canada, our Canada office is listed there as well. We're going to be out with our own F-150 demoing this thing with our truck and trailer, towing around the 992 so they can hear that, or our BMW M2 competition that'll have the Match upgraded audio system from Audio Tech Fisher Match brand in it. And we're going to hit the road throughout Canada, and when we finally get the border open, we can get the stuff across and go support our US partners as well.
Getting some questions here. When are sell sheets going to be available?
Very soon. That's this. What? How do I get? He's over there.
He's down.
Down.
This guy.
This way. There. Yeah. We'll be working on that very shortly. As I say, product we plan to ship starting May 15th on the entry-level system, and June 15th on the top-end system, where the top-end system is using the brand new Helix K10S shallow mount subwoofers, dual 2-ohm monsters, and
when were those announced? When were those announced?
They have it right now.
Oh, okay. I never even heard of that. All right.
So we're waiting patiently for those to show up, and then we'll be launching that. So we're looking probably mid-June. Everything else is ready, or is in production to be ready to ship. So May 15th on the entry-level system. And sorry, I should have brought that up. That amp rack that I showed you has the machined holes in it for the up 7 as well. So it's the same plate. You just
same plate. It's not a different shape.
No, you either get
because
the
you still need the NAV TV unit. No, you wouldn't need that because the head unit
No.
flash.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just a matter of you don't have to worry about having the right part in stock or anything. We don't have to worry about manufacturing 2 plates. It's just 1 plate, and it's got the holes for both amplifier
sets.
systems. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Chris, anything you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I mean, we're super excited about this all coming together. This has been a long time vision of ours here, and probably been a rock solid 1.5 to 2 years of actual hands-on development time in terms of getting hands on cars and figuring out what makes sense and what doesn't make sense and what's going to work for dealers, and talking to guys all over the place. So it's excited to see the finish line in sight on the F-150, and which means the start line on the next project, and can't wait to see where this thing goes. It's going to be a
Porsche
blast.
992 system. I'd like to see what you guys do with that.
It's coming, man.
Don't pens fit in the door? I'm sure you can make it work.
No, that'll be another 8 car, and we'll do another product announcement too. The Porsche will feature the new signature 8-inch mid bass in it. So we're pretty excited about that. But we're gonna have a little fun with this. We're gonna see who is paying attention and who's actually watching. So on Facebook, on the comment section of Facebook, I want everybody to post their first aha moment in their music life, where you went from listening to music to loving music and wanting to make it your career. I want to know that story, and put it in the comment section on the Facebook feed of the CMA Connected. And we're going to read these stories, and we're going to look at the emotional content of that, and we're going to award the top 3 guys with the Blam over-ear high-end reference headphones, retail value of $500. So we're going to give 3 pairs of those away. But I want to know from you guys, it's not a contest, it's not a discount, it's not buy 10, get 5 free. This is about, I want to know the emotional moment where you went from music, it's just music in the background, to holy shit, this is something special and I want to make it part of my career. Do that. The top 3 stories will award the headphones. So those have got to be in that comment section by 10 a.m. Mountain Time Monday. So you got the weekend to work on your story, and we'll award those headphones. We'll make the call to the dealer. You have to be a dealer in order to get these. This isn't open to everybody, just our dealer partners. Make sure you put the store name on there in case you're going by some handle on Facebook that we don't understand. Make sure you post.
They're already writing stories, just so you know, Larry. They've already begun. So 3 Blam over here.
We're gonna pick the 3 top stories.
Your stories better be good, fellas. Your stories better be good. Before I let you go, we got a cool upcoming Connected in a week or so. I just want to touch on that. What's that going to be all about?
Yeah, we're going to award, last month we started shipping our conductor controllers, and we've been running a contest as to the best integration with 10 of the top installation fabrication guys in North America. So we're going to have some fun with that. I've
seen some sneak peeks of a couple jobs on Facebook already. So yeah, I'm curious to see the final entries.
Pretty crazy.
All right, guys. I'm just going to repeat it one more time because it's a really cool contest. Share your story about when music came from the background and went straight to the front and made it a career and hit you in the head and said, yep, this is what I want to do. Share this story on this thread on Facebook. You have until
Monday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time.
Monday, 10 a.m. Mountain, guys. Chris, Larry, awesome presentation. Looking forward to seeing more and learning more about systems by MSC, and good luck on your rollout. As I can see from the comments, looks like you guys have generated some interested parties already.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Have a
good one. Take care.
Bye-bye.
There you have it. Systems by MSC, a more in-depth presentation following up on their Industry Week announcement of that new program that they have with, hey, I gotta say it, Porsche 992 on the horizon, brand new Ford Bronco on the horizon. That's pretty interesting. Definitely pretty interesting. And I'm not gonna repeat it again, but you guys heard what the contest is about. Make sure you get your story down in these comments. That's it for today. I wanted to remind everybody that we had a great CMA live on Wednesday. Go on CanadianMobileAudio.com. Check that out. We had some great brands talk about marine audio. We do have an upcoming Connected coming on Monday, right after this weekend, we're going to be talking to Jemsen, and they're going to be talking about audio control. So another cool session coming to you Monday. But definitely, I'm going to say it one last time. Cool contest by MSC. Make sure you watch this video to get the details and do what you need to do. That's it for now. Big shout out to MSC again. Congratulations, you guys, for the launch. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Thanks for tuning into this lunch hour learning session, CMA Connected. Until next time, we connect.